blustery here on the north side as we get you set for Chicago Cubs baseball. It's game 2 of a 3-game weekend set as the Cubs take on the wild card contending Cardinals. And we welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. Great to have you with us. We've got our jackets on today. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. Only 11 games to go. The Cubs still trying to play spoiler. They were able to do that yesterday, and they've come up with some interesting wins against the Cardinals here at home.
You know, Len, we talk about the rivalry between the Cubs and the Cards, and it doesn't really matter where the two teams are in the standings. Well, that has absolutely been the case this year. The Cardinals, with everything on the line as they approach the end of the regular season, have had a real problem here at Wrigley Field, and you know the Cub fans love it, and the young Cub players love it.
And I know a lot of players and coaches got texts from friends with the Brewers and the Dodgers and the Phillies because all those teams picked up a full game on the Cardinals yesterday.
Well, it certainly looks like it's going to go right down to the wire. I know I got a few text messages myself at the end of the ball game yesterday from fellow broadcasters, so very fun time of the year.
All right, Travis Wood will get his 3rd start of the year against the Cardinals. It has not gone well for him against St. Louis, but he's been pitching pretty well lately.
All comes back to the command of that cut fastball, the ability to get it in on the hands of the right-handed hitters and then paint the outside corner. That's the key to Travis Wood's game. Hopefully he'll have it going today.
Adam Wainwright, remember, he didn't pitch at all last year coming off Tommy John surgery. Generally pretty good this year, but he's had a rough go lately.
Yeah, and that the last 4 starts, he's really been using his off-speed pitches, his breaking ball a lot. I think he's healthy, but he's going to his off-speed pitches.
All right, coming up, we'll have Cubs baseball from Wrigley Field. What a day yesterday. It rained almost all afternoon, and then with 2 outs in the 9th, Darwin Barney tied the game with a home run. And David DeJesus would win it 2 innings later. We'll see what transpires today. Coming up next. Baseball brought to you by Bud Light Lime. Summer is calling. Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. The Illinois Lottery. Do you believe in the power of possibility? The Illinois Lottery. Anything's possible. And by Ford, manufacturers of more fuel-efficient vehicles than any other brand. Check them out at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. Chicago Cubs baseball in high definition is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
And it's time to take a look at today's Mazda drive to victory. And what the Cubs need to do today is control the middle of the Cardinals lineup. A lot of guys struggling in this Cardinals lineup, but Allen Craig and Yadier Molina have done damage against the Cubs all season long. Drive to victory brought to you by your local Chicagoland Mazda dealers. See your Chicagoland Mazda dealer for a test drive today at driveamazda.com.
Cardinals, for the first time in their franchise history, 5 guys with at least 20 home runs, and they're all in a row, starting with Beltran, Holiday, Craig, Molina, and Freese, who gets his first start in this series. Set the Cubs defensively here in a moment as John Jay steps in against Travis Wood. The left-hander deals low and outside. We're underway. Started right on time. 12:05. That one fouled back. 50 degrees with a northwest wind at 23 miles an hour. This is the kind of day for a left-handed power hitter.
See the numbers for Travis Wood this season. Lost last time out against the Pirates. Snapping a 2-game winning streak. Although he pitched pretty good in that ball game, you look beyond the numbers. 4 of the first 5 innings of the game, Pirates went down 1-2-3, but he had some issues in the 3rd inning. Gave up 3 hits, hit a batter, walked a batter, ended up giving up 3 runs. But pitched really well other than that 1 inning.
That game started at 10:42 p.m. Said it was probably the latest he's ever pitched in his life. I think it's the latest we've ever broadcasted in our lives. And the sun starting to peek through the cloud cover. The key is we're dry. It rained most of the afternoon yesterday. That's high, 2-2. Crew chief is Bill Miller. He works the plate. CB Buckner's over first, Dan Iasonia second, and Vic Carpazza over third. One punched foul. A big day in the National League wild card race yesterday, as we mentioned. Cardinals couldn't hold a 2-run lead in the 9th, losing in extras here. Milwaukee, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Arizona, all won. Far from over, a week and a half to go. Ball strike 3.
John Jay trying to influence the home plate umpire by starting down at first baseline, but that fastball right at the top of the zone. Good start to the game for Travis Wood. Didn't need him for the first at bat of the game, but let's check out how the Cubs take the field defensively behind Travis Wood. Brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. We'll get back to it there. Soriano, DeJesus, Sapelt left to right across the outfield. Vitters, Castro, Barney, and Rizzo third to first across the infield. Wellington Castillo behind the plate for the left-hander Travis Wood.
0-1 to Beltran is outside. He was given an extra hit. Found out very recently. MLB took a look at an error charged to Hanley Ramirez last week. Cardinals and Dodgers decided that Beltran should have been given a hit instead. Sinkers outside. 2-1. Well, Travis would like to have a much better start than the first 2 against the Cardinals. He's allowed 14 earned runs in 11 innings. Going into this one today. Called strike 3 to get Beltran.
ability to spot that cut fastball right on that outside corner. Started it just on the inside edge of the left-handed batter's box. The movement back toward the plate. Catches that outside corner.
Strike one on Holiday. 5 for 15 with 2 homers against Wood. Fouled away, 0-2.
I mentioned it on our Mazda drive to victory. The Cubs need to control the guys in the middle of the order because some other hitters in this Cardinals lineup that recently just haven't been doing much. Matt Holliday, since the 4th of September, is hitting .212 and has driven in only 5 runs. Always dangerous, but not swinging it the way he normally does.
Up and in on a fastball. A lot of times for Travis Wood, that'll set up a pitch toward the outside and bottom part of the zone. Went up and in again. And a rainbow to center. David DeJesus will put it away. 1-2-3 go to Redbirds. The Cubs coming up from Wrigley. The official soft drink of Major League Baseball, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. What a day for DeJesus. 4 hits, including the game-ending single in the 11th. Barney tied it in the 9th. Rizzo, Soriano, Castro, and Castillo in the middle. Dave Sapelt in right. Josh Vitter's in for Luis Valbuena. Has got a sore knee. And Travis Wood bats 9th.
Here's how the Cardinals will line it up defensively this afternoon. Matt Holliday, John Jay, and Carlos Beltran left to right across the outfield. It'll be David Freese at third, Peter Cosma at shortstop, Daniel Descalso at second, Alan Craig over at first base. The always dangerous against the Cubs, Yadier Molina behind the plate for right-hander Adam Wainwright.
Wainwright 5-0 lifetime at Wrigley Field. And the first pitch strike on DeJesus. You talked about it in the open. Wainwright has not been attacking quite as much with his fastball.
Throws a 2-seamer, throws a cutter, also has a curve, a slider, a changeup.
And hit a ton down the right field line, but foul. David's not a guy who's going to jerk pull a lot of balls, but when you look up at the flags today, this is a day to do it.
Yeah, left-handed pull hitters have a huge advantage here at Wrigley this afternoon. That one right down the stripe, but gets pushed foul by that wind blowing across from left to right. Pretty significant breeze here in the early going.
Two curveball is bounced foul at the plate. Cardinals have a lot going on in their rotation right now. Chris Carpenter made his season debut yesterday. Didn't have his best stuff, but he battled 5 innings, 2 runs, got a no decision. Jake Westbrook has been trying to get back on the mound, dealing with a strained oblique, but his bullpen session was cut very short today, and he may not pitch again this season. Reading some of the quotes from him in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, he did not sound very encouraged. On the ground, a second, little slip by Descalzo, but able to make the play. We'd love for you to keep in touch. You can email us at lennonbob@tribune.com or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Now, Darwin Barney. I can say this to our audience because I said it to him in the clubhouse today. I was not expecting him to hit a home run. It's just, you know, he's got a little power. He's got 7 home runs, but you're just not thinking Darwin Barney hitting a home run in that spot yesterday.
Especially under the circumstances. The wind was blowing in a little bit. It was very high in the air. It wasn't a line drive variety home run like he usually hits. I just saw that ball come off the bat and assumed it was going to be a lazy fly ball into left field. And it just kept carrying and carrying through the wind, ultimately ending up in the front row.
Fernando Salas was not upset with the pitch selection. The changeup is his bread and butter pitch. Every home run he's hit in his career has been here at Wrigley Field. Nine of them.
It gets back to that age-old question. As a pitcher, are you better off pitching to your strengths or going after the hitter's weaknesses?
Lofted into right center. John Jay puts up his left hand to tell Beltran I've got it, and he does.
I mean, Darwin Barney, on most major league fastballs, is going to hit the ball to the right side of the field. The only ball he's going to pull to left is either a hanging breaking ball or a change up, something off speed from the middle of the plate in. That's a ball that he's more likely to hit to left field. Now, I understand Salas's best pitch is that straight changeup, but it does give Barney the opportunity to pull the ball.
Well, Anthony Rizzo fouls away.
Hey, we want to let our AT&T Uverse viewers in Chicago and around the country know that during every Cubs home game this season, if you go to 780 or high def channel 1780, you can see a special multi-view presentation that shows you all of our different live camera angles, like those awesome shots we had from that great play by Darwin Barney and Anthony Rizzo last night.
Right.
You can catch it all.
Now, Rizzo saved Barney defensively. As he breaks his bat, will pop up. Cosma makes a catch, and that's it for the Cubs in the first. Nothing doing offensively for either team. this weekend. The Cubs still a chance to win the season series. They've gone 7-8 versus St. Louis, including 5-2 here at Wrigley. One and nothing on Allen Craig. Cardinals' depth becoming pretty important here late in the season, with Lance Berkman coming off a couple of knee surgeries this season and probably done. He has not ruled out a return yet, but it does seem like a long shot. And Rafael Furcal, their everyday shortstop, has a torn ligament in his right elbow. Two veteran, war-tested offensive players. The Cardinals just carry on without them. And up until yesterday, they were carrying on without the guy who won Game 7 last year in the World Series, Chris Carpenter. You don't want to be without guys like Berkman and Furcal and Carpenter. And last year, the Cardinals were without Adam Wainwright. But I'm sure deep down, if you ask John Mozeliak and Mike Matheny and last year Tony La Russa, it does speak to their organization in general. And I think they're pretty proud of the fact that they've been able to not only stay in the race, but stay in the wild card spot without those guys here lately.
Yeah, depth is such an important thing for any organization. I mean, unless you're the kind of team that's just going to go out and buy the best free agents available every offseason and take your chances like the Yankees do almost every year as that one gets through into center field. You better have a steady stream of major league ready players sitting down there at the AA and AAA level ready to come up and make contributions, not just come up and fill a roster spot.
Now Molina, as Wood works from the stretch for the first time, and a called strike. It's funny, we look at some big contracts that are handed out around baseball and eyebrows are raised. There were, I suppose, a few when Molina in spring training got a 5-year extension worth $75 million. That's a lot of money for a catcher, an injury prone position to say the least. But my guess here is that by the end of it, I don't think the Cardinals will be too upset.
I don't think so. I mean, this guy is a legitimate MVP candidate this year, even though offensively his numbers don't measure up against some of the other candidates. But given the position he plays, the importance he has with this ball club, Tony La Russa said it, Mike Matheny has said it, it's like having another coach on the field.
Swing and a miss. Strike three. The 28th annual Cubs convention will take place at the Sheraton Chicago Hotel and Towers on January 18th, 19th, and 20th, 2013. Rooms are available now by calling the Sheraton at 800-233-4100 and asking for the Cubs convention rate. Weekend passes go on sale in early November. For more info, visit Cubs.com. David Freese did not start yesterday, came off the bench, took an intentional walk in the 8th inning. And the first thought that comes to mind when you mention his name is, World Series playoff hero for the Cardinals. But if you look a little deeper into his career, he's had trouble staying healthy. So his manager, Mike Matheny, certainly very aware of trying to give him a day off here or there to keep him fresh down the stretch. Same goes with Carlos Beltran with the bad knees. That's outside. 3-0.
I think every manager, every trainer in the major leagues has a little extra concern when the weather turns here at the end of the season. You know, guys have been grinding along all summer long. The temperatures have been very comfortable, at times extremely warm. Very easy to get loose, very easy to stay loose. And all of a sudden the weather turns in the fall. It's much colder. It's harder to get those muscles that you've been using all summer long. In some cases maybe dinged up a little bit. It's tougher to get loose, tougher to stay loose. Yeah, this is where muscle pulls and other sprains and strains really start to show up.
Looks like Soriano was working on his hitting mechanics in between pitches.
That's the luxury outfielders have. Yeah. Get the shadow in the right spot and you can work on your mechanics, be your own hitting coach. Never see a catcher do that. Work on your swing between pitches.
Three and two. We'll see if Craig's on the move. He is not. Ball 4. That's Wood's first walk.
Technically in the strike zone according to our pitch tracks, but tough to get that call at the very top corner of the strike zone, especially on a cutter that started out a little off the plate away.
It kind of goes without saying as we use pitch tracks. Well, the toughest pitches to call for any umpire are where the lines meet, the corners. You've got two things to determine as an umpire. Is it too high or low? Is it wide or on the plate? That's where you'll get a lot of variance.
It wouldn't happen with.
Led you right into it.
A computerized strike zone.
1-1 to Descalzo.
Some laser beams up each corner, straight up into the sky. From each dugout, you shoot across the top and the bottom of the strike zone. If the ball's in the box, it's a strike. If it's not in the box, it's a ball. No arguments, no delays. No personal strike zone preference on the part of the guys behind the plate.
Now, do you adjust it per batter?
Sure. You know, we have the technology to do that.
Yep.
Because obviously the strike zone is going to be different, you know, for a 6'8" batter as opposed to Tony Campana. And the Questec system that was used for a long time as a measurement for major league umpires to see how they were at calling the strike zone. You know, it gives you a little room for error on those corners. Obviously, umpires are human. They're going to miss some calls. We know that for a fact. And they built that into the system as well. That there was some wiggle room on the edges of the strike zone. But if it was good enough to use to evaluate the umpires and basically grade their performance behind the plate, it ought to be good enough to use to just go ahead and call the pitches.
The kick, the 2-2, lifted in the air off of third. Josh Vitters has some room, battling the sun. He dropped it, took his eye off it at the last second. That'll be an error on Josh. He had it and then he didn't. He never did have it, actually.
Yeah, just didn't get into the pocket of the glove. He was a little slow getting the bare hand up there to try to help it. And it drops down. That would go as an error on Josh Vitter's tough sun at that time, but that's a ball that needs to be caught.
Another chance for Descalzo. Pete Kozma, the shortstop, on deck. He's the 8 hitter. Cue shot toward third, going to be a tough play, and Vitters will have to just pick it up.
Boy, if a hitter could master this, he'd hit 1,000. Full swing, cued it right off the end of the bat. All kinds of side English. Got out there in the grass on the left side and nearly came to a complete stop by the time Vitters could get to it. No play anywhere on the infield.
So they're loaded for Kozma. He tripled to lead off the fourth yesterday. Ended up stealing home to give the Cardinals the lead. It was intended to be a suicide squeeze. A pitch was high on Descalzo, bunted through it, and Castillo, the catcher, couldn't handle the pitch. Ended up being the Cardinals' first straight steal of home in 10 years. Wood needs a quality strike here. 2-0 with the bases loaded. Here it comes. Low and outside. 3-0. Okay. So that forces in Alan Craig.
And looked like it was off the plate inside. Castillo sitting up directly down the middle of the plate, has to reach back to his left. Yes, indeed, it was off that inside corner at 88.
It's usually that automatic 3-0 strike, but didn't get it. Now Adam Wainwright, he can handle the bat.
I mentioned it in Travis Wood's last outing. The one bad inning was his downfall in the game. Hey, by the way, today's game is available in Spanish on your SAP audio setting, provided by WRTO La Tremenda, Chicago's Spanish language sports leader. Hector Fabregas and Omar Ramos with the call today.
Wainwright has 6 career home runs. The latest of which came off R.A. Dickey of the Mets on an 0-2 pitch back on September 5th.
A knuckleball that didn't knuckle. Occasionally, if those knuckleballs get a little bit too much rotation, it ends up being like a mid-speed batting practice fastball. Or maybe he just swung where the ball knuckled.
Of his 6 home runs, that's the only time he's homered on the 3rd pitch or deeper into an at-bat. So it's usually the sneak attack, 1st or 2nd pitch. Now a 1-2 low. A 30-pitch 2nd inning. Chris Volstad yesterday had a 35-pitch 1st inning. can tell by his swing. That's not the cut of a typical pitcher.
No. Short and quick. One time Wood just tried to rush him with a four-seam fastball at 90. That's about as high as you'll see Travis Wood go. Occasionally he'll get up into the low 90s, but usually relies on that two-seam movement away and the cut movement back in. Well, this was a problem for Chris Volstad in the game yesterday. Also, he could get to the two-strike count pretty quickly against these Cardinal hitters, but just couldn't seem to put them away. A lot of foul balls, a lot of deep counts.
Another 2-2, and he's run it full, 3-2. It's Jay on deck. All kinds of trouble for Travis Wood here in the second. Line shot foul. Thought he had a second out on a foul pop. Josh Bitters couldn't catch, and he hasn't gotten an out since. Bases loaded walk to Kozma. And now a long sequence here against Adam Wainwright.
It took a little bit off that cutter. It ended up right in the middle of the plate at 84 miles per hour.
Here's a ninth pitch of the at-bat. Finally got him. 2 down.
It looked like Wainwright got a little greedy there, started feeling pretty good about himself with that long at bat, pulled that line drive foul down the third base line, and then just overswung on that last pitch. Another very hittable fastball right in the middle of the plate, but he was trying to hit that one out onto Waveland Avenue. That was a different swing that he had used throughout the at bat. Overconfidence.
Yeah, for right-handed hitter trying to pull the ball in the air today. Probably not a great idea with the wind direction. Got some early action. Lendy Castillo up in the Cubs bullpen. The 1-0 to Jay, fouled off, 1-1. Well, John Jay, pretty underrated leadoff hitter. He leads the National League among leadoff hitters in batting average. You see the on base at a very healthy 380. On the ground to Rizzo, little drop, but Wood covering, and they get out of the inning with limited damage. Could have been a lot worse than the one they got. Like to have dinner with the Cubs, Matt Garza. Just go to any Chicagoland Walgreens and look for the keyword at the Pepsi Max display. Then mail in the keyword at WGN. And you could be having dinner with Matt Garza from Pepsi Max, Walgreens, and WGN. Matt shut down for the year. Hopefully he'll be 100% once we get to spring training. 1-0 on Alfonso Soriano, now 1-1. 2 RBIs off the pace in the National League. Ryan Braun and Chase Headley have each knocked in 106. Soriano with 104, tying his career high. And you don't see Soriano practicing his defense while he's at the plate. Throwing motion way up in the air. And it's caught by Beltran.
Well, he may not practice it while he's in the batter's box, but he has definitely worked hard on his defense this year. We have not talked about it recently, but throughout this season, that's been one of the most remarkable things I think I've seen in a long time. The improvement in his defense to the point where you don't worry about balls hit to left field. Makes the plays going back against the ivy. He's crashed into the wall a number of times.
Really good year for him all around. One and one to Starlin Castro. 7 hits over his last 3 games. Drives that out into deep left, and Holliday's going to play it off the wall. I thought he was going to catch it. It's a standing double for Castro.
Yeah, Matt Holliday has always been a very cautious defender, especially here at Wrigley Field. It looked like with a few more steps he would have been able to make the catch on this ball. It hit right at the base of the wall in straightaway left field. Yeah, I thought he was camped right there, going to make the play easily. He just didn't realize how close he was to the wall. Another step and stick your glove up in the air and you make the catch.
Strike on the catcher, Castillo. Down by Molina. Castillo hitting .306. 34 games since he was recalled from AAA Iowa on July 31st. He's grabbed most of the playing time behind the plate after the trade of Giovanni Soto. Breaks his bat as he bounces right back to Wainwright. Talk about Wainwright offensively. Won a Gold Glove in 09 as well, so he can pick it on the mound. Dave Chappelle with his 3rd consecutive start in right. The big series in Houston on the last trip, and has seen some more playing time as a result.
So far, a curveball and a slider from Wainwright. He's well aware that Dave Spelt's a real good high fastball hitter. Trying to get him to chase something off speed with some movement away. He's also aware of the struggles of Josh Vitters in the on-deck circle. You got a rookie that has really had some issues making consistent, solid contact. Dave Chappelle, even though he's not a grizzled veteran, certainly with more major league time, more dangerous hitter in this particular situation. He wanted nothing to do with it.
Vitters in there because Luis Valbuena has a sore right knee. Those fans came prepared. It was one of those days a lot warmer in the sun than in the shade. Game time temperature 50 degrees.
We know that because we're in the shade. And I didn't bring my blanket today. You got that Snuggie that you got from Tom Skilling?
I think it's yes, it's in the closet back here if you'd like to grab it. But the problem is it's been sitting there all season. They will get the out at second to end the inning. A double, a walk. Cubs strand 2. 1-0 Cardinals.
On to WGNTV.com right now and click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you're watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more.
1-0 Cardinals on an unearned run in the second. Beltran, first pitch swinging, base hit. Got the update on Reds manager Dusty Baker, still in the hospital here in Chicago for one more day. Just as a precaution, and the Reds hopeful he will be released as early as tomorrow as Matt Holliday finds the gap. Beltran not running very well. We'll see if he can score. Coming around third, and no throw by Castro. Matt Holliday with an RBI double, 98 driven in on the year, and it's 2-0 St. Louis. Well, a quick strike here in the third.
Boy, after being very patient, working a lot of deep counts in the early going, they come out here in the third inning ambushing Travis Wood. He was struggling to throw strikes in that last inning. They waited him out. Took a couple of base on balls, but different part of the order up here in this inning, and they are after Travis Wood, attacking those early pitches.
Alan Craig. Ball one. Early action around the bigs and some big games in the early noon starts. Milwaukee and Washington scoreless in the third. The Brewers suddenly back in it. 6 in a row they've won. And just a game and a half behind St. Louis and only 1 in the loss column. Off the plate inside, 3-0. Tough matchup today for the Brewers bats as they face Cy Young contender Gio Gonzalez. Willie Peralta pitching for Milwaukee. There's that automatic strike.
Yeah, very similar to the pitch that was called ball 4 to Cosma in that second inning. Castillo once again sets up right down the middle, has to reach to his left just off the inside corner, but this time it's a strike.
Bounce to Barney behind second. Rizzo stayed on the bag and they get the out. Holiday moving to third.
Nice play by Barney. A nice adjustment by Anthony Rizzo at the other end to shift to the outfield side of first base when this throw goes in that direction. Switched his feet on the base, stretched far out toward the right field side and able to get the out at first base.
Cubs will now put 4 defenders in shallow right against Yadier Molina.
Probably be a wise move. Well, this is just real tough situation for any pitcher. You got to draw the infield in, a runner at third base and a contact hitter at the plate.
Makes a cutter up and in. Travis Wood, just 25 years old. Cubs got him along with Dave Suppelt and Ronnie Torreyes, an infielder from Cincinnati in December for Sean Marshall. As we were saying, fly ball to right. Suppelt makes a catch. Holiday will score standing on a sac fly. 3-0. Workman-like at bat for Molina.
It's the same word we used to describe Chris Carpenter's outing in the ball game yesterday, but it's very accurate. You know, he just knows what he needs to do in each situation as a hitter. And to use an overworked cliche, just doesn't try to do too much. He's not trying to hit a home run. He's just going to put the ball in play either hard through the infield on the ground or looking for something up in the zone to lift in the air to the outfield.
One strike to Freeze. 2 plate appearances in the series, both walks. Was talking with Cubs first-year hitting coach James Rowson about the development of hitters at this level and how when you get right down to it, it's pretty simple about not trying to do too much, grinding out at bats. We were watching David DeJesus take batting practice yesterday. I think it's natural for a young hitter to get geared up, try to do everything in one swing, hit the 6-run homer. And as you get more seasoned and you realize how difficult this game is and how hard it is to gear up and be ready for every at bat, Those are the guys who get to that next level. Understanding the situation. Talking about Castillo's at bat and extras the other day. Trying to hit a home run when all they needed was a fly ball. Safe as Freese beat it out. Ball wasn't hit that hard, and a long throw by Castro, and he couldn't get him.
Real quick adjustment right at the end of that play by Castro to back up a step or two to play the hop. Just plants the right foot and throws, but David Freese was busting it out of that right-handed batter's box. And right there, that little stutter step had to back up an extra couple feet to get the hop he was looking for, and you don't get the out at first base.
Now we go back to the at-bat for Castillo against the Reds. Really over-swinging. In fact, on one of his swings went down to a knee. All the Cubs needed was a fly ball to win the game. His hitting coach talked to him about it. And his first at-bat the following day, he shortened up on his swing and hit a ground ball right up the middle into center field. And as James said, he said, after talking about it, he figured it out. It was after the at-bat, however. And so we want guys to think about those things before they ever step into the box. That's the challenge with a young hitter.
Yeah, the physical challenge or the physical issues you work on during batting practice or in the cages before a ball game. And then mentally, as you're standing in that on-deck circle, you should constantly be updating your own situation. Okay, what's the situation now? Where's the runner? What's the score? Where are we at in the ball game? Who's hitting behind me? Who's warming up in the bullpen? You analyze all those things before you get in the batter's box. And with all that in mind, you should have a pretty good idea of how that pitcher is going to try to get you out. And then come up with a game plan to combat that. They're going to work away. I'm going to hit the ball into right field. If he's going to try to come inside with a cutter, I'm going to back off the plate a little bit and try to keep it fair down the third baseline. You should always have some kind of a game plan when you step in that batter's box. Sometimes it's as simple as I'm going to look for a good strike to hit and I'm going to hit it. Nobody on base. Tie ball game early in the game. I'm just going to look for a good pitch and try to hit it hard. But other times it gets much more specific. You're planning before you get in that box.
Swing and a miss to end the inning, but the Cardinals add to their lead. They get a couple runs and it's now 3-0. Called strike on Travis Wood, final batter in this game to get his first plate appearance. Cardinals lead 3-0 here in the third. Base hit into right.
Got a couple pitchers in this ball game that think they're hitters. showing that they're hitters. Good swings by Adam Wainwright before he went down on strikes, and we know Travis Wood can hit.
Well, we have been singing the praises of David DeJesus all season. Not a perfect player, not a perfect hitter. But those things we were talking about the last half inning, he does in every at bat. You always know that he understands the situation and what he needs to do to help his team. There's been a lot of talk this summer about the process, putting yourself in the best position. Cubs defensive positioning and shifting. All the work on base running where you're supposed to hit the base. Grinding out at bats. And that process is very, very important. We've seen the Cubs become a little more patient at the plate here in the second half. I think a lot of those things are sinking in.
A lot of options here for David DeJesus depending on how Adam Wainwright pitches him. You've got the third baseman drawn in to protect against a bunt, cutting down on his range. Shortstop shaded up the middle of the field a little bit in anticipation of a possible double play. So there's a pretty big hole on the left side of the infield. You got the first baseman holding on Travis Wood, so there's a hole on the right side as well. So before you even step into that batter's box, you kind of tell yourself, if he throws me a fastball out over the plate and down, I'll try to slap it past the third baseman. If he throws me an off-speed pitch on the inside part of the plate and I recognize it, I'll try to pull it through the right side hole. And now with 2 strikes, you just battle as best you can. Try to make solid contact, put the ball in play somewhere.
Outside, 3-2.
Now the situation changes again. 3-2 count. Is the runner at first on the move, or is he going to hold? That'll change the way the Cardinals are going to play defense. The third baseman has now dropped back with 2 strikes.
Tell you what, I'd send him here. Down 3-0. You've got a good athlete at first. Jesus handles the bat well. Wood is going, and it's a swinging bunt. Molina will get the out at first.
The 2012 Chicago Cubs baseball season on WGN TV is brought to you by Bud Light Lime-A-Rita, the ready-to-drink margarita with a refreshing twist of Bud Light Lime.
That brings up Barney with Wood at second and 1 out. And as tough a year as this has been, the Cubs are 59 and 92, and it's a slow process, but I think, Bob, you really have to appreciate the way the Cubs are going about it in terms of the infrastructure of their baseball operations, all the way down to the minor leagues. Hit well. Jay still going after it, and he has to leave his feet as he makes a catch. That ball slicing away from him. Wood tags and moves to third. 2 down.
Boy, that ball was really being pushed away from John Jay. Carlos Beltran gave up on it rather early, and that wind pushed it way over into the gap in right center. Nice running catch by John Jay right in the heel of the glove. And Travis Wood alertly tagged up and advances on to third base with 2 outs in the inning.
Up Rizzo with Wood at third. Winning organizations are usually organizations with really good players. That's ultimately the job of Theo Epstein, Jed Hoyer, Jason McLeod, and everybody here is to bring in the best players possible. But I like the fact that now that they're bringing them in, they're bringing them into a system. Cubs Way, the manual came out just a few months after Theo took over. the instruction from top to bottom, using the same terminology. The work habits, the expectations, all those things are in place. So whenever a new Cub shows up, he knows what's expected of him, and I think that's the way to do it.
Unfortunately, many times in a lot of different businesses, not just Major League Baseball, there's a disconnect. Obviously, this is your main concern. What happens at the Major League level, winning and losing ball games. But it all has to work hand in hand. The development of the young players, the scouting and signing of young players. The ultimate goal.
And Wood's going to score as that ball squeaked past Molina. And a wild pitch by Wainwright. 3-1.
Fifth wild pitch on the season for Wainwright. That's an unusual sight to see a ball get right through Yadier Molina like that. Big curve ball. Didn't come up. Unfortunately for the Cardinals, he did. Normally you keep the glove down there, and if the ball happens to take a high bounce, you take it off the chest protector, but you have to cover that 5-hole.
Called strike 3. Wainwright with his first strikeout, but the Cubs get on the board. 3-1 now.
Protecting home for the Cards, the Cubs, the Brewers, the Orioles, the Angels. That's right, Del Rice, 1953 All-Star, was part of 2 World Championship teams back in '46 and again in '57. Look at the old no-break mitt, like a big old donut. Catcher's mitts nowadays are a lot more similar to a first baseman's glove, a lot more flexible. That's back in the old day when you had to use both hands to catch a ball in the middle of that donut.
He would end up being Bob Buell's personal catcher with the Braves. Backed up Del Crandall. How about the catching core for the Braves? Del and Del. Crandall and Rice.
Of course, Del spelled backwards is lead.
From Portsmouth, Ohio. Is that anywhere near your hometown?
It's a river town down south.
Del Rice would manage the California Angels in 1972. One, two to Cosmas outside. There's a 2-2 pitch, fouled off and out of play. A Reds' magic number in the Central is 1, so that means they've already clinched a tie for the NL Central title. But what that means is the Cardinals would have to win out and the Reds would have to lose their final 11 in a row. I would say that's unlikely. Dodgers beat the Reds 3-1 in 10 innings last night. Golf to left. Soriano coming in. He's got it. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Wainwright struck out with the bases loaded back in the second. Well, and the Pirates lost again. This time 7-1 last night at Houston. So the Bucks have lost 4 in a row. Fading fast. They've lost 16 of 20 and they're 2 under 500. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 6 Ks for Wood, who picked up a career best 9 in his last start. Well, I think when the season started, most people had the Reds, Cardinals, and Brewers in various order at the top of this division. I didn't expect the Brewers, though, to be in seller's mode around the end of July and then surge late, but that's exactly what's happened as they battle for that last wild card spot. Outside to John Jay. And in terms of the wild card, while this appears to be the final series the Cubs will play that has playoff meaning, the Arizona Diamondbacks are not out of it yet. They're not on that list. Right now they're 4.5 out at 500. We'll be in Arizona next weekend. So we have determined they're out of it. Just because we couldn't fit them on the box there. But I guess our advice to the Diamondbacks would be to jump over one of those teams. Jump into our graphics box.
Or we need to use smaller font.
Well, you're being way too practical as DeJesus makes a catch. It's 3-1 Cardinals. Anything's possible players. Go back to September 22nd, 1953. Ernie Banks and Gene Baker become the first African-American double play combo in Major League history. The Anything's Possible players brought to you by the Illinois Lottery, who each day make anything possible. Ernie would become Mr. Cub. Go to the Hall of Fame as Soriano breaks his bat on a fly ball to left. Holiday will handle it. Well, we're in the business of making Bob Brenly happy. So pick a font. My default font is Helvetica.
I like the stomp bullpen there, about a third of the way down on the right column. Boogie woogie. Too many choices.
There's a great documentary called Helvetica. It's very good. It's about fonts, how they make you feel. He went 0-2.
Who doesn't enjoy a good cheery font? Looks like Frankie Font helping out in the bullpen this year. Is there a Frankie Font?
We could make one up. Cued by Castro to the second baseman Descalzo. By the way, back to our Illinois Lottery, Gene Baker is on the ticket today. And a neat thing the Cubs have done, featured a different Cub on each ticket, all 81 for the home games here at Wrigley Field. Baker passed away in 1999. Actually buried in Rock Island, Davenport, Iowa, and was a Cub from 53 to 57. Gene Baker.
Tell you one thing on that graphic that we had with Ernie and Gene Banks. Gino looked like he was getting ready to low bridge a runner at second base. Bent over at the waist, had his arm down there below waist level. That's one way middle infielders used to protect themselves against sliding runners. Look at that. He's going to throw submarine to first base, make that runner get down.
Can't have a big discussion about fonts without showing Franklin Font, Cub staff assistant. Warms up pitchers in the bullpen with Andy Lane. And obviously telling a story about his own font. I think he's writing in Helvetica 3-1. Stay tuned for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Captain Morgan. Raise your glass, always in moderation, to life, love, and loot. George Lopez. I know George has done the stretch at least one other time, maybe a couple of times. It was great to have him here. 1 ball, no strikes on Carlos Beltran. 3-1 St. Louis. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Giants' magic number over in the West down to 2 after they beat the Padres last night. And Bob, you'll appreciate this. Buster Posey, before the game, given a great honor for a Giant. Got the Willie Mack Award.
Oh, nice.
An award that you've won, correct?
Yeah, one time back in 1984. Most inspirational player, most in the mold of Willie McCovey, and it's basically the team MVP statistics notwithstanding. You don't have to be the best hitter, hit the most homers, drive in the most runs to be the Willie Mack Award winner, and that is a real feather in Buster Posey's cap.
McCovey very effusive in his praise as he bestowed the award last night. He said, "I don't usually tell people who I voted for, but I voted for Buster Posey this year." Sapelt makes a catch. The Fifth Third is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, the Curious Bank, member FDIC. Now Holiday, who's 1 for 2 with an RBI double. Oh boy, we opened a big can of worms, partner.
Uh-oh.
And an email from Michael Gorman who said we are discussing typefaces, not fonts.
Okay. That's our bad.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 outs. Well, Michael, we appreciate the note. The problem is the entire conversation was to set up a Cubs staff assistant. Unfortunately, we don't have a coach with a last name Typeface. So you got to play along with us just for a few minutes.
Yeah. You have to take
so
a little
technical,
artistic license. Come on.
Yeah. Steve Typeface is somewhere down there. As Alan Craig slaps one into center.
You mentioned the Willie McCovey Award a moment ago. Buster Posey, this year's winner. Cardinals manager Mike Matheny was the winner back in '05. And it's funny, all the award winners are listed here, and I don't see Barry Bonds' name anywhere. Because like I said, it's not just for the best offensive player or the guy that had the best stats. Because Barry would have won it every year he played in San Francisco. But some of the winners, former Cub Mike Krukow won it twice back in the mid-'80s. Dave Dravecki, a very inspirational character on those Giants teams in the late '80s. Sean Dunston won it in 1996. We all know what kind of impact Sean Dunston has on a ball club, and that particular year they felt that he was the most inspirational player on the Giants team.
Molina bounces to short. Castro will feed Barney, and that'll end the inning. Still 3-1 Cards.
Curious Bank, member FDIC.
Three to 1. Adam Wainwright trying to get over 500. He's at 13-13. And more importantly, trying to help his team keep its 1.5 game lead, maybe even extend it in the wild card race. Popped up by Sepelt. That one landed just on the other side of the backstop. Let's take a peek at our Ford upcoming Cubs schedule back on WGN. Tomorrow, leadoff man at 1 and leadoff man coming up at 7 on Tuesday. Half-hour edition. We'll chat with Jeff Samardzija. Ford, manufacturers of more fuel-efficient vehicles than any other brand. Check them out at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. Sepelt is called out. He did not get a piece of that ball.
New in 2012 is Cubs Authentics, a premier outlet for special MLB authenticated Cubs memorabilia. From game-used baseballs, bases, and jerseys to autographed bats and photos, Cubs Authentics has the most exclusive Cubs memorabilia. Visit the Wrigley Field Concourse, the Cubs store, or email cubsauthentic@cubs.com for all your Cubs memorabilia needs.
Well, we found him.
Yeah?
Yeah, Roy Face, and we all remember the nickname.
Yeah,
so
everybody called him Type.
Franklin Font and Roy Typeface. I think of Roman Cologne, former big league pitcher. Italics Cora.
Oh.
And the old mascot for the Braves, Chief Knock Tahoma. for all you typeface fans. Tahoma.
Tahoma.
Yeah, you'll get it. Thought my italics Cora would go over a little better, but
obviously we have way too much time between innings.
Apparently
now.
we do, yeah. Swing and a miss by Vitters. 3 straight strikeouts for Wainwright.
Well, I think it's only fair that we point out that Elroy Face's biggest year in the major leagues was 1959 when he went 18-1 with a 2.70 ERA, was an all-star, and finished 7th in the most valuable player voting. Good old type.
And he was a right-hander, W-R-I-T-E.
Just hold stop.
One and one on Travis Wood, who has scored the only Cubs run after singling in the third. He would later score on a wild pitch. Hey, Chicagoland viewers, if you want to wear what the Cubs are wearing, then text Clark to 88019 right now for your chance to win an authentic game-worn jersey from the Cubs. And be sure to go to Cubs.com/authentics for more authentic Cub memorabilia. Lofted to right, Beltran drifting, still going back, and he has it. Back to back now, 1, 2, 3 innings for Wainwright, who's settling in. Ball blog on WGNTV.com. It's brought to you by Jeff Vukovich, nationwide agent serving the area for 33 years. Contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Lots of good stuff as always on the blog. Game notes. We'll have our new podcast up early next week. Check it out. And Stats Sunday coming up tomorrow. I think the best sports writer in the world, Joe Posnanski, is going to write about defense and defensive stats.
Defense.
Tomorrow. Only a couple of Stats Sundays left. Speaking of defense, this guy leading the world in just about every category. Let's see if it's enough for him to win the Gold Glove. Well, David Freese hasn't seen many strikes. Walked in the second, did single in the third, an infield hit, and 3-0 here in the sixth. So Corpus in for Travis Wood, who gave up 3 runs, 2 earned in his 5 innings. I said it the other day. Strange to see him without his headphones on. He might wear his headphones as much as you do. His are a little bigger, though. Got the big cans. Leadoff walk.
Hey, baseball fans, make sure and tune in during the 6th inning today. If a Northside player hits a grand slam during the 6th inning, Kathleen Harmon of Downers Grove will win a Mazda CX-5. Go to WGNTV.com/contest to enter for a chance to win a Mazda CX-5 in various games on WGN TV. Brought to you by your local Chicagoland area Mazda dealers. And we know that Anthony Rizzo's grand slam earned Ron Jecka a Mazda CX-5. Well, that was exciting. Anthony was excited about that.
It was on Sunday, that big comeback win. Corpus needs to find the strike zone here. Two and 0. Two and 1.
Andy Corpus looking to bounce back after by far his worst outing of the season against the Cincinnati Reds a couple days ago. 1 inning of work, gave up 6 hits and 5 earned runs.
Ground ball in the left. Cardinals threatening. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Jose Oquendo, the third base coach, chatting with Cosma.
Cosma playing in only his 16th game here. Has 1 sacrifice bunt so far in those previous 15 games. We talked about Adam Wainwright and his ability to swing the bat. He's in the on-deck circle. You could possibly see a sac bunt here. Mike Matheny likes to use the sacrifice bunt quite frequently. No sign of a bunt that time. Coming into play today, the Cardinals had tried 98 sacrifice bunts this season. Only 4 teams in the majors had attempted more sacrifice bunts than the Cardinals. But they've only been successful 72% of the time, putting them in the lower third of effectiveness with the sacrifice bunt.
Vitters. Not a great throw, but they get the out at second. So they're at the corners with 1 out.
It looked like a tailor-made double play. Ball hardly hit right at Josh Vitters. It looked like he altered his throw to get it over the runner going from second to third. And the low throw to Barney put him in harm's way out there at second base, but at least they did get the force. Boy, this is where the Cardinals under Tony La Russa used to really play games. You've got a pitcher at the plate that can handle the bat. He can bunt. You got runners on the corners, maybe a sac bunt, maybe a safety squeeze, maybe a suicide squeeze. Could play hit and run with the runner at first and the batter.
Instead, he swings away.
Yeah, swinging away at the first one.
Yep, but that doesn't mean he won't do it.
And don't be surprised if you see Wainwright show bunt, take the bat back, and then come back around and put down a sac bunt. That's something we talked about, the Cubs' way of doing things in an organization. That's something that the Cardinals have done for years. Show bunt early, pull it back as Corpus gets up into his set position, and then the defense is not quite sure what he's going to do. Well, that certainly takes away some of your options. At least you would think so on the surface. The 2-strike count, a little more risky to try to put down a sac bunt or a safety squeeze with 2 strikes on the hitter.
Gets by everybody, but it bounces all the way back over home plate, over Adam Wainwright. That was bizarre. And the runners both holding.
That's actually a pretty good read by David Freese down there at third base. That ball shoots by everybody, hits the bricks, and ricochets right back out in front of home plate where Corpus fanned on it, but by that time, Freese was on his way back to third.
Barney out, and he makes a catch and just fires it back into Rizzo. Nice catch and nice quick throw. Doesn't have to be accurate, but just get it back to the infield.
And David Freese was kind of caught out there in no man's land. Didn't know whether to tag up or go halfway down the line. He wasn't sure if that ball was going to drop or not. What a great play by Darwin Barney. The catch is amazing in and of itself, but to have the presence of mind to get that ball so quickly back to Anthony Rizzo to make sure Freese was not tagging and trying to score.
Strike to Jay, who's 0 for 3. Line and caught by Castro to end the inning. Corpus gets out of it with no damage done.
box score. The only damage done by the Cubs offensively, a one-out double by Castro in the second. And Travis Wood with a leadoff single later came around to score on a wild pitch in the third. Other than that, it's been all Adam Wainwright today. The 2013 3 Series with X-Drive is here. Visit your local Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana BMW Center today to test drive one.
Well, it is cool today, but they look like they're just fine.
Antifreeze.
So they're not fans of the Cardinal third baseman?
No.
Oh.
Will be slightly overdressed for a ball game in September, but we appreciate the effort.
Like extras from Go-Go's video. 3-1 Cardinals lead here in the bottom of the sixth. Nice crowd today, 40,298. DeJesus deep to right. It's going to go. Back of the bleachers, 3-2. Wind blowing out toward right. He took advantage, and to be honest, I don't think he needed the help on that line shot.
His 8th home run of the season. Let's take a look at our Nissan drive of the game. No doubt about it. Two-seam sinking fastball down and in. Loud contact by David DeJesus, and hits it way back into the bleachers in right field. Get to your Nissan dealer for special offers. Nissan, innovation that excites. Visit ChooseNissan.com.
One-run game now. Darwin Barney. Caught by Descalzo. Well, he was airborne for a while. What a play. I thought that ball was going to get into center.
He may have started his dive just a little bit early, but did his best Superman impersonation, stayed in the air as Barney cued it right off the end of the bat. Just a little more barrel on that when he gets it into center field.
Barney's been robbed a couple of nice defensive plays in this game. Jay in the third, and now Descalzo.
You know, I'm going to correct myself, Len. I said that was a two-seam sinking fastball that DeJesus hit for the home run. It was actually a changeup. And the reason I mention that is because DeJesus' game winner yesterday was on a changeup. The Cardinals go right back to it again. Now, granted, the location wasn't where Molina or Wainwright wanted that pitch, but Cubs offense has done some damage in this series against the straight changeup.
Barney's homer on a changeup. Sliced in the left. Tickets are available for the final homestand of the season against the Astros October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd here at Wrigley Field. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office. Cubs getting to Wainwright here in the 6th. Wainwright recently turned 31 years old. He's from Brunswick, Georgia, and has been with the Cardinals, being acquired in December of 2003 from Atlanta. Make his big league debut until 05 in relief. 06 as a reliever and the closer in the postseason as they won the World Series. He's been a starter since '07. You see your National League RBI leaders. Matt Holliday has knocked in a run today. Only 3 guys with at least 100: Braun, Headley, and Soriano.
Anytime you find yourself among the leaderboard in any important offensive category, that's a feather in your cap, but maybe even more so for Soriano and Chase Headley, given the kind of offenses that they find themselves in the middle of.
Swung on and missed. It's 2-2. You ready for this? The Brewers, with 723 runs, have already scored more runs than they did all of last year. So I guess offensively, they didn't miss Prince Fielder as much as everybody thought. Aramis Ramirez a big part of that. Carlos Gomez, as that ball is pulled to deep left, and it will land on the warning track. Rizzo coming around third. Pat Listas sends him home, but I believe that ball bounced out of play. That's a break for the Cardinals. Did it get lodged?
Way at the top of the vines, just below the basket.
You can just see the top of the white ball.
Any other day, this one probably has a chance to get out of Wrigley Field, but that firm wind continues to blow in from left field. Really knocked this one down. It one hops off the warning track and gets stuck very high up in the vines. Matt Holliday doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Put your hands in the air. If he tries to reach for that in any way, shape, or form and it falls out of the vines, it's in play.
So Rizzo, who would have easily scored, has to hold it third. It's Castro, and we'll see what the Cardinals decide to do here with first base open. Eric Lilliquist, the pitching coach, just made a visit. They will intentionally walk Castro. And this is a timely spot here for Wellington Castillo, isn't it?
It really is.
Talking about the approach earlier. Bases loaded, 1 out. Your team's down a run.
A lot of learning moments this season for a young Cubs ball club, and hopefully Wellington Castillo learned his lesson well the other day. Talked about it earlier in the ball game, just trying to do way too much in a situation where all he needed to do was make contact and put the ball in play.
This game has the feel of yesterday, doesn't it? The Cardinals have had all kinds of chances to break the game open offensively. They have not been able to run away, and the Cubs just hanging around. Here we go. 3 on, 1 out. And the pitch to Castillo. There's a slider for a strike. I think that was part of the bat that came off. Is it that?
I think it's a thumb guard.
Guard, yeah.
Some of the players wear that on their thumb to keep from bruising the fat part of your thumb, the base of your thumb there where the big muscle is. Occasionally, if you get jammed or have a bone bruise right there, it just continues to aggravate it throughout the season. Some guys wear that little thumb donut. Talking about donuts all day today.
Wainwright's 0-2. Bears a breaking ball. Trying to do that earlier and got past Molina and allowed Travis Wood to score. Jumped the gun a little bit. Only one out here in the 6th. There you go.
Boy, Wainwright got away with one right there. Molina wanted that pitch down low and away. There looks like they're just trying to stay away from Wellington Castillo in this situation. That slider backed up right into the heart of the plate and up. Just missed it.
Shallow right center. This could drop. The slide, the catch by Beltran. The throw off the mark, however, and it's a sacrifice fly. Because Beltran had to leave his feet, that gave Rizzo plenty of time to score, and we're tied at 3.
You don't have to hit a home run to get some results. That pitch off the plate, cued off the end of the bat. Nice sliding catch that time by Beltran, but as you mentioned, Anthony Rizzo alertly had gone back to tag up. It's a good jump down the line and is able to score in the time it takes Beltran to get back up to his feet.
First and second. Dave Chappelle, base hit in the left. Soriano coming around third. Holiday's throw. Not in time. Cubs lead 4-3.
This play unfolded in slow motion. Chappelle with the line drive into left. Pat Listash waving Soriano all the way. Fonzie running as hard as he can. Matt Holliday threw a marshmallow in from left field. That ball just seemed to hang in the air on its way to home plate. But the Cubs take the lead.
For the first time today, they have the lead. Josh Fitters, a fly to left. This will end the inning. Holliday makes a grab. 3 runs, including De Jesus with the leadoff homer. And the Cubs lead That's Madonna with her new song. Oh, wait. It's been around for a while. Material Girl. Classic. That's our Bud Fan Cam, brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. I bet it's been almost 30 years since that song came out. Madonna recently played at the United Center. Jesus started the 6th with a homer. Castillo would tie it with a sac fly. Sapelt would give the Cubs the lead with a single. And Michael Bowden, for the first time as a Cub, pitching in a game late with a lead. Not an easy part of the lineup either. Beltran, Holiday, Craig due up. Foul tip, 1-2. Tomorrow, Kerrywood Appreciation Day. We'll have the pregame ceremony for you as part of our leadoff man coverage at 1 o'clock. First 20,000 fans will get a commemorative Kerrywood poster as they walk into the ballpark. Justin Wood will throw out the first pitch. His dad, Kerry, will be the catcher, and the entire Wood family, Kerry, Sarah, Justin, Katie, and Charlie, will conduct the 7th inning stretch. Wood Family Foundation will benefit from the Cubs Charities 50-50 raffle. Swing and a miss. He got him. One away.
Well, the Cubs bullpen was really good in relief of Chris Volstad yesterday. 6 innings of 2-hit, 1-run baseball, just stifling the Cardinals. Bowden gets Beltran to chase a fastball up and out of the zone for strike 3.
Holiday 1 for 3 with an RBI double and has scored a run. A grand opening coming up at O'Hare, Cubs Bar and Grill. It'll be in Terminal 3 of the airport. The Cubs themed breakfast menu. You can order some items that are served here at Wrigley Field. We have a replica Wrigley Field marquee, Cubs memorabilia, framed autographed jerseys. Concourse G, Terminal 3 at O'Hare, and the grand opening is this Tuesday. Oh, Holiday, very late swing. Just got a piece of it. 1-2. Inside to make it 2-2. The Cardinals trailing, but their closest pursuer also trailing 9-0. The Nationals lead the Brewers. They're in the bottom of the 5th in DC. Ian Desmond 3 for 3 with a homer. Gio Gonzalez wins that game, and he's leading 9-0. He'll become the first 20-game winner in baseball. He went in at 19-8. Up the middle on a bounce. It'll be Darwin Barney to get Holiday. That's where positioning comes in. If he's in his normal position, that's a base hit. Follow the Cubs with the MLB.com @Bat12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at BAT to 31826 or visit Cubs.com for details. 2 outs, nobody on. And it's Alan Craig 2 for 3 with a run. One ball, one strike. One and two. Fastball that time from Bowden. Well, Gio Gonzalez leads the majors in wins. The guy chomping on that gum leads the majors in winning percentage. Kyle Lowe, she'll pitch tomorrow. Here on WGN, 15 and 3. Justin Germano will go for the Cubs. Holding the left, Soriano coming on. Time for the stretch with George Lopez.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, actor and comedian George Lopez.
All right, Cubs fans, let me hear you. On 1, on 2, on 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if we ever get back. Well, root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's get some runs.
There.
Sing it loud and proud.
Want to talk to us for a couple minutes? Nicely done.
Hello, test.
All right.
2, 3. Surprised Bowman's still out there. Okay. Cardenas pinch hitting.
Okay.
On, even though he trails 4-3. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Pinch hitter Adrian Cardenas for Michael Bowden. George Lopez, nicely done as always with the stretch.
Thank you. It is an honor always. And I didn't realize till I saw myself on WGN that Mitt Romney and I were the same color. We both got a nice. We're both orange.
And the inside corner for a strike. Chicago Theater tonight, one of our favorite venues.
Great place to work. I saw David Letterman do a show there probably 21 years ago. Michael Jordan was a guest. Leno was on. Buddy Guy was on. So it's nice to be able to sell that thing out and go there for the first time.
Well, you've done it all. Stand up, sitcoms, late night talk show host. In terms of performing, what gets the juices flowing the most? What do you get excited about the most?
Well, I think stand-up has always been, what's allowed me to do everything else. So it is probably the freest form of expression now. One of the craziest things is you know, I'm doing the gala for the Ryder Cup on Wednesday, and, you know, they ask you to do it. They've all been great to me. But clearly, you know, they're all concerned about my freedom of speech. So they're like, hey, listen, talk about golf, but don't talk about any players, and be yourself and slip some golf jokes in.
Right. Well, it's true. I mean, you know, some people get asked to host the Oscars and other award shows, sports award shows. And as a comedian, your job is to push the envelope a little bit. But your idea of what's appropriate, and Norm Macdonald's idea of what's appropriate, Chris Rock's idea of what's appropriate, the person at the other end of the joke might not think it's so nice.
Absolutely. The one thing I love about golf is that, you know, I've been watching enough. If you conk a guy on the head with an errant drive, you just walk over and sign a glove and everything's all right. Like, you know, I won't be able to see out of this eye, but I got a glove.
Right. Right.
You know, your wife throws a frying pan at you, it hits you in the back of your head. She signs it in a silver Sharpie, and everything's all good.
Everything's good.
That's the way that works, huh? Wow.
Well, Jesus homered, get the Cubs going in the 6th. They would add a couple of more to take the lead. Blocked by Molina.
It turned out to be a great day. It's a little cold this morning. This is a beautiful. I mean, when you think about people that come to see baseball either for the first time or back many times to see a Cubs game, this is absolutely the perfect day to see a game here.
Over 40,000 fans here.
A lot of Cardinals fans.
There are. This has been one of the great rivalries, not just in baseball, but all of sports. And you know, generally, the thought is the Red Sox-Yankee rivalry is pretty nasty. But this is a Midwest rivalry. So while neither team and neither team's fans like the other, it's a little tamer, you know? More about baseball and less about throwing fists.
They coexist very well. Yes, they do. It's about throwing fists. They got it down at Dodger Stadium. They cut off beer sales. I think it's the middle of the 2nd inning now.
You're not even allowed to drink at home before you come to the ballpark.
Bob was a big part of that rivalry for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And that goes back to when both teams were in New York.
Well, George, you can always tell when the Cardinals are in town because you see the tractors parked out on Clark Street.
Here's Darwin Barney with 2 outs and nobody on. So what's next, George? I mean, you've done just about all there is to do. And you sit at home and look at your busy schedule and you say, I haven't done this yet. What's next for you?
Well, you know, there's an opportunity to go back into TV. You know, the first one was such a lightning in the bottle thing. You don't expect it to become that successful even after its run in production. So we're going to try to do that again. I like the idea of going back and doing TV again now that I know a lot from the first time, and that was very successful. So.
Well, you're a natural, and I know everybody's excited to see you at Chicago Theater tonight. Thanks for stopping by, George.
I appreciate it, guys. As always.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Visit your local Chicagoland Honda dealer today and test drive a 2012 Honda Accord. Jesus with the homer. Castillo tied it with a sac fly. Sapelt gave the Cubs the lead. And all these games here at Wrigley lately have been very tight. Cubs leading 4-3 in the 8th. Sean Camp takes over on the mound against Yadier Molina.
You notice Josh Bitter's down at third, actually playing just a step behind the baseline with Molina leading off an inning. He'll try to bunt his way on in a close game. You put runners on base, obviously he's going to swing away. He's a completely different hitter, but his job right now is to try to get on base, and we've seen him bunt for base hits leading off an inning.
Three and one. Molina started down toward first.
Ooh. We'll take it. Didn't quite get back to the corner.
And he's going to get him. High fly. Sapelt for the out.
Hey fans, visit the Captain Morgan Club at Wrigley Field with more than 40 flat screens, great food, and Wrigley's largest outdoor patio. Come celebrate a Cubs win and join us for the Captain Morgan Club post-game party featuring great music and Wrigley's friendliest staff. For more information, including specials and private party options, call 773-404-4750.
There's James Russell. Camp with his 77th appearance, tying Randy Choate atop the Major League leaderboard. Going to be a good battle to the finish. Russell was 72. About 149 appearances for Camp and Russell combined. Strike three on a slider. Just caught the outside corner, according to Bill Miller. Now time for a look at our AT&T UVerse replay. Daniel Descalzo robbing Darwin Barney. Barney's done this to a few guys. See what's possible with AT&T UVerse high-speed internet. AT&T, rethink possible. In the dirt. David Freese had an issue with this call. Perfect.
Yeah, we showed you James Russell warming up in the Cubs bullpen. You wonder, why not bring in the lefty to face the left-handed hitting Descalso? Well, I'll tell you why. Daniel Descalso this year, a .302 hitter against left-handed pitching, .193 against righties.
Three and one. Kozma is on deck. Ball 4 to continue the inning. But it will not be Pete Kozma. Guess we can say Kozma not.
Oh, nice.
Matt Carpenter will hit instead. Well, maybe a Cardinal fan didn't have an actual Cardinal jersey or jacket.
It's the only red thing she had in her closet this morning, maybe.
Nice jacket.
A little bit of a dangerous matchup here for Sean Kemp. He doesn't throw extremely hard. Command and changing speeds is his forte out there on the mound. And Matt Carpenter at the plate, what I would call a slider speed bat. Can't catch up to a real good fastball, especially if it's elevated in the strike zone. And right now the only place you're going to hit a ball out of this ballpark is right field. So this is a little tricky for Sean Kemp. Going to have to really concentrate on hitting his spots.
So a little tape on that left wrist, but Carpenter doesn't like wearing batting gloves, which is pretty rare these days. Said he did once in college, and it was icy cold. It's the only reason he did it.
Sean Kemp trying to time that pickoff attempt at first to catch Descalso between strides as he takes his lead over there.
One and two. The last Cardinal rookie to have at least 11 pinch hit RBIs, which Carpenter has this year, Joe Frazier. At 15 back in 1954. That's a club record. Skip Schumacher would hit next. He's in Wainwright's spot.
I think if we get as far as Skip Schumacher, you will see James Russell in the ball game. The splits are pretty drastic for Schumacher. He hits righties pretty well, struggles against lefties.
served out in the left center. Descalzo breaking for third. Throw goes to second. Cardinals rallying here with 2 outs in the 8th.
They just soft served out there into left center field. Pitch off the plate, down and away. Cued it off the end of the bat, but finds grass in left center. Nice play by DeJesus to come up immediately throwing to second base.
So it will be Russell. Question is, will it still be Schumacher? He was announced. We'll find out in a moment. September rosters. You really do your best to match up with your top bullpen guys right in front of your closer. It's very difficult to do that in September because of the deep benches. So Skip Schumacher was announced, but he will not bat and will not be available the rest of the day, as Shane Robinson will hit instead. And everybody has to go through this, but it fundamentally changes the strategy of these late inning matchups. Robinson, the most frequently used pinch hitter for the Cardinals. And he bats with runners at first and third, and 2 outs here in the 8th. Cubs lead 4-3. And some damage against the Cubs this season. That's high. 2-0. We've got a left-handed hitter, John Jay, on deck. While first base isn't open, second is. So Russell can't get Robinson. All is not lost. He walks him. That's a strike.
James Russell's been very effective against righties and lefties this year. The splits are nearly identical. I think you have to go after this guy hard right here. John Jay hits lefties pretty well in that on-deck circle. Robinson, limited playing time this year.
0-2.
You see the numbers for James Russell.
It's right down the middle.
Come on.
Right down the middle.
That's just ridiculous. I swear.
Can't believe Robinson didn't swing at it.
Right down the middle of the plate. Where could that have possibly missed? Brutal.
3-2. That means Carpenter will be on the move. Fouled back. Boggs, the righty, Freeman, the lefty. Swing and a miss on a changeup for strike 4. So the Cubs maintain their lead. David DeJesus yesterday beating the Cardinals with a single in the 11th. Pinch runner Brett Jackson in. This year Budweiser will donate $5,000 for every Cubs walk-off win to Folds of Honor. Find them at facebook.com/Budweiser for details. Left-hander Sam Freeman to Anthony Rizzo on a foul strike. And Carpenter stays in at second, and Descalzo goes from second to short.
I've got to look at Freeman in the ball game yesterday. He pitched an inning, gave up one base hit, struck out a batter.
Rizzo chasing that breaking ball off the plate.
His numbers on the season: fastball, the sweeping slider we just saw Anthony Rizzo chase, and also a straight changeup.
Started the year at Double-A, pitched at Triple-A, and now the big leagues. Holiday, the first out. Cardinals will have the top of the order in the 9th against Carlos Marmol, who's up in the bullpen, and Matheni's going to match up here in the 8th with Soriano coming up. They'll make a change. We'll be right back. Trevor Rosenthal on for the Cardinals in a 1-1 count on Soriano.
Rosenthal faced Soriano in the ball game yesterday, got him out on a line drive to Matt Holliday in left field.
And threw one pitch on Friday. Made his major league debut on July 18th. Pops it up. It's Alan Craig. 2 down. Victor Marte is up. Yankees leading Oakland 5-4 in the top of the 7th in the Bronx. Well, what a big week for Ichiro. He's homered today, his 9th. Raul Ibanez with number 16. Stephen Drew has hit his 4th for the A's. New York won 2-1 in 10 on a Russell Martin homer last night. So we'll go to the 9th. Cubs 4, Cardinals 3. Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. The Illinois Lottery. Do you believe in the power of possibility? The Illinois Lottery. Anything's possible. And by Ford, manufacturers of more fuel-efficient vehicles than any other brand. Check them out at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. Another close game between the Cardinals and Cubs here at Wrigley Field. Set the outfield for you. Sapelt from right to left. Tony Campana comes into play center. That'll move De Jesus over to right. Carlos Marmol will try to make it 20 consecutive successful saves. He's given up 1 earned run over his last 19 save chances, going back to May 2nd. John Jay fouls off on a fastball. Only Marmol and Houston Street have been perfect in save chances since the start of May. Street 18 for 18. Everybody else, all the closers, have been unable to be perfect during this time. It was a slow start for Carlos. A little DL time, lost his job, battled his way back into that 9th inning role, and has been lights out. Swing and a miss. Boy, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Trying to focus on that pitch as it gets into the hitting zone, at the same time doing your part to clean up the environment. That was the 6th strikeout in 8 at-bats for John Jay against Carlos Marmol.
Well, it's pretty obvious. I mean, if you just are watching Carlos for the first time this season, you'd say, well, what happened to the slider? No, it's the fastball's back. Nothing but heat so far here in the 9th. He has certainly recaptured that pitch.
I think it was always there. I just think he has his confidence.
That is trouble. If it's fair, we're tied, and it is. The back of the Budweiser patio, Carlos Beltran, I'm sure was thinking about that wind blowing from left to right. So Marmol with his first blown save in his last 20 chances. It was a fastball. 97.
Down and in. Boy, in order to get that bat hit on that pitch, he had to be expecting fastball inside to get around that quickly and keep it fair with the wind pushing the ball toward that corner out there in right field. I was just about to say the fastball never left Carlos Marmol, but he didn't have the confidence to throw it that he does right now. That confidence may be rattled a little bit by that Beltran home run.
The last blown save for Marmol had been against the Cardinals here on April 24th. Well, that is a big home run for Beltran. Two out to Holiday, 3-0. So Carlos has to get it back now after giving up the lead. The Cubs did win that game on April 24th, 3-2 and 10. First homer allowed by Marmol since July 6th. Jordani Valdespin of the Mets. Only 4 given up all year. Holiday hit one on April 24th. Three and two. Jason Mott got the day off yesterday. Available today. Alan Craig pacing on deck.
Home run a little bit shocking, Len. I mean, Marmol hasn't struck out nearly as many hitters as he has in seasons past, but he's given up a lot more weak contact.
All 4.
We just haven't seen many opposing hitters square him up the way Beltran was able to on that fastball down and in.
Adrian Chambers will run for Holiday.
For 1 on the season in stolen base attempts as Adrian Chambers taking over down there at first base for Matt Holliday. Had some 20+ stolen base seasons in the minor leagues for the Cardinals.
Inside on a slider to Craig. Final in New York. The Mets held on to beat the Marlins 4-3. Miami got all 3 of its runs in the ninth. R.A. Dickey got the win. He's 19-6. He beat Mark Burley. So the Mets snapped a 9-game home losing streak last night. Now they've won 2 in a row. A big game in the American League. Baltimore and Boston 6-6 in the bottom of the 8th at Fenway. Runner goes. Here's a throw. Didn't get the tag on him, maybe at all, as Chambers is in.
First stolen base of his career. Got a pretty good jump. Strong throw by Castillo, but starts tailing as it gets down there to second base. Castro had to step up in front of the bag to take the throw, clearing a path for Chambers to slide to the outside part of the bag safely.
One and one on Craig. He's already knocked in 87 this year. Fastball off the plate in. 2-1. You know who I'm worried about.
Yeah, the guy in the on-deck circle. I was thinking the same thing. Well, ideally, you retire Alan Craig here and at least give yourself the option of taking the bat out of Yadier's hands. Now, David Freese is no trip to the beach, but Yadier Molina has shown me enough over the years. I'm just not going to give him a chance to give the Cardinals the lead.
Three and one. This guy leads the majors in this spot. That stolen base looming large here, and you look at the numbers. It's cued to Barney at second. Chambers to third. Cardinal fans getting excited as Yadier Molina steps in.
I just can't let him swing it myself, Len. Yadier Molina, career against Carlos Marmol, 6 for 11 with 2 doubles. And no strikeouts. David Freese in the on-deck circle, on the other hand, 1 for 5 with 3 punch-outs.
Did not hit him. Unfortunately, didn't get far enough away from Castillo. And looks like Molina's hurt.
Yeah, just in the effort to get out of the way of that inside pitch, looked like he locked out his left knee. Maybe put some torque on his hip. Very awkward movement there. Locked the left knee, tried to turn away from the pitch, put a lot of strain on that left hip and lower back.
Does not look particularly comfortable right now.
Looked like Jose Oquendo tried to take the bat away from Molina. He wouldn't let him. A big juncture in the ball game, but that is a huge piece of this Cardinals team, both offensively and defensively. Let him continue this at bat, and he further injures whatever it was he tweaked trying to get out of the way of that inside pitch, and lose one of the best starting catchers in all of baseball. That would be a huge blow.
I don't think he's going to finish. So Mike Matheny will have to find a pinch hitter to come into this at bat.
And they got plenty of catchers. The Cardinals are carrying 4 catchers on their roster, and you can clearly see Molina not happy. Got Brian Anderson, a left-handed hitting catcher. Also Tony Cruz and Steve Hill, right-handed hitting catchers. I think it was Anderson that came down from the Cardinals bullpen. I would assume they're going to send the lefty up there to hit against Marmol. Maybe not.
Tony Cruz.
Yeah. Now Cruz has been Molina's backup most of the season, has had considerably more at bats than the other names I mentioned, so Mike Matheny choosing to go with experience rather than percentages, sending up the left-handed hitting Anderson. It'll be Tony Cruz instead.
First action for Cruz in a while. Chambers at third, 2 outs. Cardinals tied it on the Beltran homer. A 1-0 count on Tony Cruz. Slider low, 2-0. Gonna watch for a wild pitch. Remember that pitch that actually sent Molina to the trainer's room Got out of the mid of Castillo. Chambers could not score. Ended up holding at third. It was vacated that time, and it was a strike. 2-1. Fly ball to center. Campana drifting, and he makes a grab. A little bit of a late jump on it. The inning is over. We go to the bottom of the ninth, tied at 4. Carlos Beltran with a game-tying home run. His 30th of the year. Picked up his 90th RBI. Adrian Chambers pinch ran for Holiday. He was stranded at third. He's going to stay in and play left, and Cruz remains in at the catcher position. Well, you know what, partner, just setting it up for another celebration. 5 of the Cardinals' last 7 losses here at Wrigley Field have been final at bat Cub wins.
Cardinals on the season have had 10 walk-off losses, 4 of those coming at the hands of the Cubs.
Castillo tried to end it right there, 1-1. Rosenthal got the final 2 outs of the 8th. Castillo tied the game with a sac fly in the 6th.
And with their loss in extra innings yesterday, the Cardinals are now 5-11 this season in extra innings. They've hit .228 as a team in extra innings, and they've been out homered 7-0 in extra innings.
Rookie right-hander Jay Chapman. In case we get to the 10th. 278 on that heater from Rosenthal. 2-2.
A real easy velocity from Rosenthal. Has a real fast arm when he finally turns and opens that front hip and shoulder toward home plate. Really drives that arm toward his target. Tell you what, Len, that fly ball that Tony Cruz hit to Tony Campana to end the top half of the ninth, there was nothing routine about that. He hit that ball really hard. Fortunately, Campana with enough speed to make an adjustment and run it down a lot deeper than he anticipated.
Was with a runner at third, would have given the Cardinals the lead. Coming up will be the 10th pitch of the at bat. And spins him right around. One away. Chappelle gave the Cubs the lead with his RBI single in the 6th. Oh, what a knockdown by David Freese. It's like he might be a little shaken up. Boy, that was a rocket off the bat of Chappelle.
I was just about to say, Dave Chappelle, one of the better fastball hitters that the Cubs have on their roster right now. He can turn on a bullet, and he did it on that fastball from Rosenthal. Just absolutely lit up David Freese down there at third base, but he's able to stay with it. Playing even with the baseline, had enough time to throw across for the out.
You know, one thing we should note, and it may be a moot point if Josh Vitters can get a hold of one here, as he grounds it into center for a base hit. Arguably, each team's best hitter is no longer in the game. Soriano taken out for defense in the top of the ninth, and Holiday removed for a pinch runner. Luis Valbuena is going to hit in the pitcher's spot. Was not in the starting lineup because of a sore right knee.
Cubs have been walking them off against the Cardinals this year. Anthony Rizzo, a big home run, or actually, yeah, it was a home run. That was the one that was briefly disputed. And David DeJesus yesterday pulling that changeup through the right side to score Brett Jackson with the game winner.
Ball strike on Valbuena. Vitters keeping the inning alive with a base hit.
There's not much of a base stealer down there at first base. It's going to take something off the bat of Luis Valbuena to advance him. You can even tell by the way he takes his lead, he's not a base stealer. His left foot, the one closer to first base, is further away from home plate than his right foot. Exactly the opposite of what you usually see from a base stealer. You want to open that front side so they can clear the right hip and the right shoulder and cross over and accelerate into a stolen base. But Vitters has the left foot back.
Bounced into left. And Vitters holds it second. Back-to-back 2-out hits. Well, DeJesus won it yesterday. He'll try to do it again today.
Looked like Valbuena was trying to wave off a potential pinch runner down there at first base. Yeah, David Freese able to make the stop on the smash off the bat of Dave Chappelle, but just can't get to that slow roller that snuck through the left side for a base hit.
Mike Matheny's going to go with Mitchell Boggs against DeJesus. Don't go anywhere. 4-4 tie in the ninth. Back into the Cardinal bullpen.
Another guy with a big arm, average fastball, sits just a tick under 96 miles per hour. Also throws a hard slider in the upper 80s. Occasional straight changeup.
Game-winning run right there. Josh Vitters at second base. Here we go. Foul pop back our way.
And given the fact that DeJesus has hurt the Cardinals 2 days in a row on changeups, and the fact that that's Mitchell Boggs' third best pitch, I think he's going to see a steady diet of hard fastballs and nasty sliders.
Power arms in this Cardinal bullpen. Marlon Barney with a big homer yesterday to send it to extras. Oh, foul. Deep breath by Boggs and a 1-2 punch foul. The dirt.
Thinking about a base hit to the outfield. Good arms across the outfield for the Cardinals, especially Beltran in right field. 10 outfield assists this season. At times can be a little slow getting to the ball, but very strong and accurate with his throwing arm.
We saw a great throw he made all the way to third yesterday. Boggs with a 2-2. Left field, Chambers makes a catch. And we go to the 10th. It's 4-4. A 4-4 tie. Carlos Beltran tied the game in the 9th. Cubs threatened but could not push home the winning run in the bottom. And so rookie right-hander Jay Chapman here in the 10th. Called strike on Freeze.
Chapman was recalled from Double-A Tennessee on September 4th and has immediately moved near the top of the totem pole down there in the Cubs bullpen. Dale Swaim really likes his assortment of pitches and his mound presence. Done a nice job.
Fastball outside. Fly ball to center. Tony Campana with the glasses on and the enormous glove.
Enormous glove.
One away. Descalzo 2 hits and a walk. He made it out once. That was a strikeout in the 3rd. changeup. Ball one. That's a better one. Third extra innings game in the last 4 days for the Cubs. The other two went 11. One against the Reds, a 6-5 loss, and then the 5-4 victory on Friday versus St. Louis. Changeup, swing and a miss. Strike three.
That's his go-to pitch. Really good straight changeup. Tremendous arm action. Ball just seems to never get to the plate.
Carpenter came off the bench, singled in the 8th. Now playing second. The final in Washington, 10-4 Nationals, as Gio Gonzalez is the first 20-game winner in baseball. He's the first Washington major league pitcher with 200 strikeouts since Walter Johnson in 1916. (20-8) with a 2.84. He may be on his way to winning an award named after a pitcher who retired 5 years before Walter Johnson had that 200 strikeout inning. And Cy Young. I've had people ask me a lot over the years, how many Cy Young awards did Cy Young win? I'm going to say none.
I'm guessing none.
Can't believe it. He was that good. 511 wins, all-time leader. Couldn't win a Cy Young. Big piece of Castillo, tries to walk it off.
Another changeup from Chapman. That time Carpenter able just to foul it down here somewhere around the ankle, the foot. Back toward the heel, actually, of course, where there is no padding. Got the extension out over the top of the shoe. You've got two little extensions to cover the inside and outside of your ankle, but nothing to protect your heel, so naturally that's where the ball hits.
A 2-out walk, and it will be Brian Anderson, a left-handed hitting catcher. A pinch hit. Means Boggs' day pretty short. Mitchell Boggs faced one batter. Got out of the 9th inning. Cardinals will use another reliever in the 10th. They're in the 10th in Boston. 6-6 Orioles and Red Sox. In a big game, Oakland and the Yankees tied at 5. They're in the 8th. Yankees with a 1-game lead over the Orioles. Yankees have won 6 in a row. Baltimore 5 straight. Underway in Detroit. They were rained out last night. Tigers lead the Twins 1-0 in the second. Detroit 1.5 behind the White Sox. They'll play a day-night doubleheader in Detroit tomorrow. Twins and Tigers. White Sox were beaten last night by the Angels 6-2. Braves with a 3 spot right off the bat in Philadelphia, leading 3-0. They go to the bottom of the first. Freddie Freeman with a 3-run homer. Roy Halladay. 1-2 on Anderson.
Good backdoor breaking ball this time from Jay Chapman. Just to give the Cardinals hitter something else to think about when they make their way to the plate against him in the future. The 9th at bat of the season for Anderson.
Way out in front that time.
He's fouled off the last 2 changeups, both of them from the middle of the plate in. That's a pitch you'd like to get on that outer third of the plate, fading away from the left-handed hitter. Elevated fastball this time. And back to the changeup. We're going to talk it over a little bit here. Wellington Castillo had signaled for a changeup away from Anderson. Chapman went into his set position and stepped off the back of the rubber, perhaps thinking or overthinking about this pitch. Want to make sure they get it right, so Welly goes out to the mound to talk it over.
Our email account is still open. Paid the monthly bill last week. And they haven't kicked us off Facebook or Twitter yet, so let us hear about it.
Yet.
A 2-2 count. The pitch to Anderson in the dirt. A brand new podcast we'll be recording tomorrow, and it'll be ready to view on Monday. WGNTV.com. All 4.
That's pretty quality at bat for Brian Anderson, a guy only at the plate for the 9th time this season, but worked a walk from Jay Chapman, putting the potential go-ahead run into scoring position.
I think these are always dangerous situations here. You've got a guy, John Jay, a .308 batter on the season, but he's 0 for 5 today. And he's 0 for his last 9 since picking up hits in his first 2 at-bats of the series. Low for a ball. Chris Bosio out to talk it over, and we're back with you at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Join us for the leadoff man. We'll have Kerry Wood Appreciation Day pregame festivities And then Kyle Loesch will oppose Justin Germano here on WGN. Foul.
Well, we talked about the Cardinals' arms in the outfield in that last half inning when the Cubs were threatening. And if you're Jose Oquendo at third base, you're well aware Dave Sepulta, an average arm in left field. He charges the ball extremely hard. Tony Campana, not much of a throwing arm in center, but he too charges the ball extremely well. David DeJesus with the strongest and most accurate arm from right.
And that is fair, and the Cardinals are going to get the lead. John Jay with a double. As I was talking about, those 300 hitters, they don't drop in too many 0 for 10s, 0 for 12s, and John Jay just snapped an 0 for 9.
Another changeup on the wrong side of the plate. We saw the couple that Brian Anderson was able to foul off and stay alive in his at bat until taking the base on balls. And another changeup on the inner third of the plate gets pulled down into that right field corner for an RBI double.
So 5-4 St. Louis. So walk Beltran. Remember, Matt Holliday out of the game, so it will be Adrian Chambers. And they'll face him instead. Chambers is a left-handed hitter. Much more unproven than Beltran, who tied the game with a homer in the ninth. One of those 2-out walks coming back to haunt Jay Chapman. Inning Beltran out on to Sheffield to tie the game. The update on Yadier Molina, who was injured in the ninth, avoiding a pitch, lower back spasms. Chronic back issues, not a big surprise, but definitely a concern for an everyday catcher. Rafael Dolis getting ready in a hurry. Chapman now with his 30th pitch of the inning. That one missed badly, 2-0. Needed that one, 2-1. Castro have to throw to first. Oh, he just got him. Chambers almost beat that out. Cardinals take the lead 5-4 in the 10th.
inning. Lead the Cubs 5-4 as we head to the bottom of the 10th. For the Cubs, it'll be Darwin Barney, Anthony Rizzo, and Tony Campana, the 3 scheduled hitters, and they'll be facing the Cardinal closer. He's been a busy man lately, Jason Mott.
Boy, has he. He had pitched in 5 consecutive games with an off day there in the middle, but 5 consecutive team games before not having to pitch yesterday. And the Cardinals leading because of John Jay's go-ahead RBI double. Called strike. Ryan Jackson into play second. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Four-seam fastball, cut fastball from Jason Mott. Nothing tricky. Don't look for breaking balls. Don't look for off-speed pitches. He's going to come right at you as hard as he can.
That piece of the bat. Foul tip, strike 3. Anthony Rizzo 1 out of 4 with a run. And now, how about this? The second baseman and shortstop just switched. Jackson went to short, Descalzo to second. Good catch, partner.
Trying to figure out the rhyme or reason of this particular defensive alignment. I mean, you're going to put your better defender at the position you think the batter's most likely to hit the ball. And for Darwin Barney against Jason Mott, I would have my best defender at second base. He's more likely to hit the ball hard to the right side of the field. That's where Jackson was for the Darwin Barney at bat. Now they flip him over to shortstop for the Anthony Rizzo at bat, apparently feeling Rizzo's not going to pull either.
A little different. Nothing wrong with that.
Can you tell Mike Matheny played for Tony La Russa?
Yeah, I was just going to say it felt a little La Russa-like. Two extra inning games in this series, but Mike has not yet double switched. Kind of interesting. Rizzo broke his bat on that foul. Ryan LaHare on deck. Now, it couldn't be that those two guys up the middle were playing the wrong position for the first batter, could it?
Maybe.
But the switch was not as strategic as it seems.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want you at short.
Ah, okay. Well, he played second for one batter. That we know. See Rizzo really gearing up.
It didn't take him long to realize what Jason Mott is going to try to do. Just absolutely over muscle opposing hitters with that fastball and cutter. He rarely throws anything off speed.
Now, if you're the Cardinals, I mean that's not Anthony Rizzo normally.
Nope.
I mean, you just stick with your strength, even though that's what he's going to do to
Once again, the eternal question.
Yeah.
Do you stick with your strength as a pitcher, or do you go after the weakness of the hitter?
Sticking with his strength.
Yeah, we saw what Anthony Rizzo could do when he thought he knew the pitch that was coming. That grand slam that he hit, he was pretty sure he was going to get a fastball out over the plate. Got the bat started a little bit early, got out and around it, and hooked it back to right field.
Swing and a miss. He got him.
You know what? Would have loved to have seen a much better result, but I'd rather see an at-bat like that from Anthony Rizzo than go up there and try to massage the ball into left field. You're down by a run. Not a lot of thump in this Cubs lineup right now. Anthony Rizzo is a guy that could tie it up with one swing of the bat against a power pitcher. Power on power. I'm going to swing and try to hit the ball out of the ballpark against your best fastball.
So this is it. Brian LaHare, pinch hitting. Put up a lot of good numbers early in the season as he became a first-time All-Star. 5 of his home runs against the Cardinals. 14 hits and 39 at-bats. One and one. And seem to be rising. Cardinals trying to do to the Cubs what the Cubs did to the Cardinals yesterday. 9th inning homer to tie it and winning it in extras. 2-2. Well, after a while, you just get the feeling if Mott just tossed one up there at about 78 miles an hour, a guy would swing 4 times.
Yeah. That's just not in his nature. A converted catcher, send him out there to the mound. Still a little rough around the edges, but just an explosive arm. Everything in the high 90s, approaching triple digits.
Run it full, 3-2. So now the question is, if LaHare walks, a pinch hit for Campana, can you bring Tony back to run?
That'd be nice, yeah.
Can't do it.
The re-entry rule.
Giving him a good battle. Starlin Castro's on deck. Everybody in the ballpark standing. Swing and a miss. He got him. Mott strikes out the side in the 10th. And that sets up a rubber match tomorrow. Time now for our Budweiser play of the game. John Jay, first hit of the game. A double to score Carpenter. As the Cardinals win in 10, 5-4. Budweiser, great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Our next WGN broadcast of Cubs baseball will be tomorrow. Cubs host the Cards in the rubber game. Our broadcast begins at 1 o'clock with the leadoff man, a special Kerry Wood Appreciation Day special. Once again, our final score in 10, Cardinals 5, Cubs 4. Cubs baseball in high definition has been brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Stay tuned. The 10th inning is next.